Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today we are unpacking a fundamental shift in technology. We're moving past AI that just talks to you, and we're entering this wild new era of AI that actually does the work for you. For the past 2 years, we've all been amazed by chatbots that can, write poems or draft emails. But what happens when the chatbot steps out of the chat window and actually starts clicking the buttons for you? That is the massive leap we're exploring today. Let's get into it.
So, what if AI didn't wait for your instructions to get things done? Think about your daily workflow for a second. The sheer amount of time you spend logging onto your computer, clicking through a dozen different applications, copying data from one tab just to paste it into another, all to finish a single task. I mean, it's exhausting, right? Now, imagine simply supervising a digital worker that has already mapped out that entire problem, chosen the best path forward, and is literally executing the steps on your behalf. This simple question you see here is the driving force behind the next massive tech revolution, fundamentally changing how we interact with software.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering 1. The Agentic AI revolution, 2. Generative versus Agentic AI, 3. The 5 levels of AGI, 4. The magic of tool calling, 5. Building agents with Crew AI, and finally, 6. Security in the AI era.
All right, Section 1, the Agentic AI revolution. We're going to start by looking at why exactly this specific technology is suddenly dominating research labs and job markets globally.
Look at this massive spike. What started back in 2016 as pure academic research has completely exploded. You can see the surge in job postings and research papers starting around 2022 and then just rocketing upward through 2023 and 2024. Startups are investing heavily, meaning they need resources, and that translates directly to this massive market demand. The commercial industry isn't just experimenting anymore. They are fully adopting this because it fundamentally solves complex business problems much, much faster than humanly possible. So what exactly is it? Simply put, Agentic AI is a virtual human that autonomously understands, decides, and acts to achieve a goal. The crucial point here is to think of these agents less like traditional software applications and more like highly capable virtual assistants. For example, if you need to travel from your house to an auditorium, you understand your goal, you decide between driving, walking, or maybe taking the bus based on traffic, and then you take action. Agentic AI operates the exact same way. It possesses the autonomy to evaluate a problem, choose the most efficient path, and execute it without waiting for you to tell it what to do next. Moving right along to Section 2, Generative versus Agentic AI. Let's see how this builds upon the tools you're already familiar with. You might be wondering, don't we already have ChatGPT? Isn't that what this is? Well, yes, we have generative AI, but the stark contrast here is autonomy. Generative AI is kind of like an intern. It always waits for your command and needs constant human handholding. You ask for a draft, you review it, you ask for changes, and you guide it step by step. Agentic AI, on the other hand, pursues a goal until it succeeds, completely on its own. If you tell an Agentic AI system to organize a seminar at the Expo Center, it doesn't just give you a list of ideas. It will autonomously analyze the venue size, research the target audience, generate the marketing materials, and execute the email campaign. And here's the absolute kicker. If one method fails, say an email bounces, it self-corrects and tries another path, all without you having to babysit it. No way, right? Which brings us to Section 3, the 5 levels of AGI. Let's map out exactly where we are in history right now. OpenAI actually outlined these 5 distinct levels to map the staircase toward artificial general intelligence. Level 1 gave us basic chatbots, systems that can converse, but, not much else. Level 2 introduced reasoners, AI that thinks, weighs its options, and researches before it speaks. But level 3? That is the absolute game changer we are hitting right now. Agents that can take autonomous action in the real world. This is the massive leap from thinking to doing. Eventually, this foundation is going to lead to level 4, where AI becomes an innovator, inventing new scientific concepts on its own. And finally, level 5, organizations, where a superintelligent AI could autonomously run an entire company top to bottom. To really put this into perspective, let's look at this historical timeline. Back in the 2010s, predictive AI was a big deal, right? It could look at an image and predict if it was a cat or a dog. Fast forward to 2022, and generative AI completely blew our minds because it allowed us to create new images or text from scratch. But while that was a massive leap, the 2025 wave of agentic AI is an even bigger paradigm shift. We are evolving from AI that just generates content inside a little text box to AI that acts independently, interacting with the digital world 24/7 on our behalf.
Okay, Section 4, the magic of tool calling. Let's dive into the technical engine making all of this autonomy possible. This quote really hits the nail on the head. Without tool calling, agentic AI would just be a generative AI trapped in a box. That is a powerful realization. I mean, to be genuinely useful, the AI brain needs to be able to reach out and touch the digital world around it. It literally needs hands and feet. Tool calling is exactly that. It's the very first practical implementation of agentic AI that the market is utilizing today to solve real business problems.
So, tool calling acts as the bridge connecting an AI's brain, the large language model, to real-world APIs and external software. By calling pre-built APIs, the agent doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. It's leveraging the exact same digital tools that you and I use on our mobile phones or laptops. If a software developer has built an interface for sending an email, checking a calendar, or accessing a database, the AI agent simply connects directly to that existing framework to get the job done. Let's look at a highly practical example. Imagine you want to book a flight. Instead of you navigating an airline app, tapping through endless menus and comparing dates, the agent autonomously calls the airline's booking API because you gave it the overarching goal to travel. You just say, hey, book a flight to Dubai for when I'm free next week. The agent checks your calendar tool, finds a free evening, calls the Emirates API, books the ticket, processes a bank transfer API to pay for it, and updates your schedule. The app interfaces we manually tap on today, they're being bypassed entirely. For you, the end user, it is completely seamless. You just set the goal, and the magic happens behind the scenes. Next up, Section 5, Building Agents with Crew AI. Now that we know how they interact with the world, how do developers actually build these virtual workers? Well, we are transitioning from chatting with a single bot to managing an entire digital workforce. In orchestration frameworks like Crew AI, developers can map out really complex workflows and assign tasks to multiple autonomous AI workers. You define specific roles. For instance, you might have one agent responsible strictly for gathering financial data on the web, another agent programmed to analyze that specific data, and a third agent whose only job is to write a polished final report. They pass the work along a defined workflow, collaborating step by step. Actually, it's exactly like a real-world corporate team. Let's slow down a sec and look at the anatomy of this setup. A functional agent requires 4 distinct pillars. First, the LLM, which is the brain. This provides the intelligence and reasoning. Second, memory. Think of this like a human brain needing a notepad. Without memory to track the context of what it literally just did 2 minutes ago, it gets lost. Third, tools, which we discussed, allowing external actions. And finally, Crew AI itself, serving as the workflow management layer. It stitches the whole shebang together, ensuring the agents stay on track and don't go off on endless, unhelpful tangents. Finally, let's get into Section 6, Security in the AI Era, because obviously, this introduces a whole new set of challenges. Giving AI independent access to the real world undeniably raises the stakes for cybersecurity. One of the most critical new threats we face is prompt injection. Imagine an agent tasked with managing your invoices. A bad actor could feed that agent a clever prompt hidden inside a seemingly normal PDF invoice. If the agent isn't secured properly, it might get confused, overwrite its core instructions, and execute an unauthorized tool call, like, transferring money to the attacker's account instead of the vendor. Because these agents execute cross-workflow actions, a breach in one area can cascade into others. Penetration testing for these specific, new vulnerabilities is absolutely crucial. To combat this, enterprise businesses are increasingly looking at local deployment. If you don't want your proprietary workflows traveling to an external cloud, keeping the brain entirely in-house is for sure your strongest defense. For ultimate privacy, organizations can run open-source models like Meta's Llama locally on their own hardware. This air-gapping ensures zero data leakage. By deploying these models directly onto secured servers, businesses guarantee their confidential data and their agents' decision-making processes never leave their private network. It provides the ultimate peace of mind. As we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this thought. Agentic AI is ready to take the wheel. The question is, are your skills ready for the passenger seat? The tools are changing so rapidly. Those who learn to orchestrate and secure these autonomous digital workers will absolutely lead the next wave of innovation, while the rest may be left doing the busy work. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into Agentic AI.